Combining yeast and baking powder will give you one of the most fluffy egg roll recipe that you can ever make. Welcome back to my channel. We are making egg roll in bulk and I'm using 15 eggs. The tips and tricks you're going to learn from this video is going to help you make 20, 30 and even up to 100 pieces of egg roll with ease using yeast and baking powder. You can either use your baking powder alone or you combine your yeast and baking powder. I've done videos whereby I use baking powder alone and I'm going to show you how I use baking powder and yeast. These are the ingredients I'm adding. You can see them in my flour. I'm using 7.5 cup of flour, 150 gram of butter, 150 gram of sugar, 1 tablespoon or 1.5 tablespoon of baking powder. You can use 1 tablespoon, you can use 1.5 tablespoon if your baking powder is not so active, but if it is active, 1 tablespoon is okay. I'm using 3 cups of water. 3 cups of water is what we are using. You are not using cold water, neither are you using warm water, just normal temperature water, 3 cups. This is the third cup I'm adding to my dough. I will just add it in bits until I can get my dough together. Now, when making your egg roll in large quantity, you are going to make your dough a bit soft. This would make it easy for you to work your fingers into your dough and get all your ingredients fully dissolved into the dough. If you make your dough to be hard, some ingredients will be more on one side compared to the other side. At this point, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of water just to soften my dough a bit and just to help me work my fingers into my dough and get all my ingredients into my dough. This part is totally optional. 3 cups of water should be enough for you. So that is for that. Now I'm done. This is how I want my dough to be, very soft. It will make it easy for me to roll my eggs in. Now, for egg roll in bulk or commercial quantity, it's advisable that you weigh your dough. I usually advise 80 gram to 100 gram. That's what I usually advise. Now 100 gram is usually on the big size. 80 gram for business, the way things are a bit expensive. For those of us in Nigeria, 80 gram is fine, but in this video I use 100 grams. This is me flattening my dough in my finger and putting my eggs into my dough, and I'm going to roll it. I'm not cutting out the excess dough because I weighed my dough. If you are not weighing your dough, it's advisable that you cut out the excess dough because you actually don't know how much dough you have with you per time, and you may have an egg roll that is too heavy or too big that it will make it difficult for you to fry properly. The inside may feel a bit raw, so do not use more than 100 gram of flour. That's my own advice, or you can go for 90 or 80. So I did cut my dough into 8 portions weighing 100 gram each and rolled my egg into them. This is because my pots can just take 7, at most 8 pieces of egg roll. So I'm going to just roll the first batch and fry and roll subsequent batches. When making your egg roll recipe in bulk, make sure you roll them in batches, especially when you are adding yeast to your baking powder or alongside your baking powder. Now when putting it in the oil, now you will roll it further in your palm again before putting it into your oil. This is because after rolling in your egg roll, since you added yeast, your dough will start proofing. And if it is proofing, it may lose the shape, and rolling it again in between your fingers before adding it or frying it will help you reshaping your egg roll before frying. Now, frying your egg roll in batches make your egg roll to look this good and firm, and also prevent your egg roll from proofing. Now, the batch frying is very important because of also the size of your pot. If you are using smaller pots, frying in batches will really help you to manage or fully utilize your oil without having to stress yourself. I use a 30 centimeter pot and 2 liters of oil, and it was enough for me to fry 15 pieces of egg roll without stress. It will also be enough for me to fry up to 30 or even 40 pieces of egg roll. I will just fry in batches. With that, you use less oil and it will stress you less, and your egg roll will come out looking better. We are done frying all our egg rolls. Look at how they are. One thing you must take note of using yeast is that your egg roll will be deeper in color. It will be brown, deep brown. It will look like that of puff puff kind of, but it is not going to be like puff puff. This is because of the yeast, so it's fine. Now what the yeast does is that it makes your egg roll really light and makes it easy for it to cook on the inside because your dough too will be light. I have a video where I showed various ingredients and their measurements to make various quantity of Nigerian egg rolls, mixing it with yeast and baking powder. You can check that out. It will tell you the accurate amount of yeast and even water that you need for various quantity of egg rolls. So if you want to mix yeast and baking powder to give you a more fluffy egg roll, you can check out that video, and I'll put the link in the description box and in the end screen. This is the amount of dough we have left. It was quite much. You can use this to make extra egg roll or use yours to make buns. I use mine to make buns because of my kids, so my ingredients and measurement videos always give you more than enough dough for the particular recipe. This is so that you can have dough for in case you have emergencies or in case you want to add an extra egg roll. You will not need to mix a fresh dough. So my buns, I'm stirring continuously. Once it is brown, I'm going to take it out of the oil and set in a sieve. Using this mixture for buns gives you a bigger and more fluffy bun, so you can consider making your buns like this. You will use less flour and get more buns and make more profits and get more customers if you are into egg roll buns business. Look at how the buns look. They are bigger. Who wouldn't like a big buns? The little flour goes a very long way because of your yeast. Now, thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Tell me if you're going to try this recipe and tell me if this video have been of help to you. I want you to like, I want you to share, I want you to comment, and see you in my next one. Bye bye. Good to have you here. See you next time.